What's up everyone, in this video I'll tell you all the rules of GamerSaloon, so if you wanna start playing on GamerSaloon, this is the video for you, because you gotta know the rules. And if you don't know what GamerSaloon is, check out my channel because I have a bunch of videos explaining everything, so just check it out and you'll find whatever you're interested in. And now, let me tell you the rules. Okay, so the main way of playing on GamerSaloon is playing 1 versus 1 challenges against other players. So let's see what happens and what rules apply when you set up a challenge. When you are accepting, creating or sending a challenge, you'll be able to put in any specific rules for that particular challenge. So if you, for example, want your opponent to use a specific team or to give you some sort of advantage, or vice versa, you can state so in the rules. Any rules not stated before a challenge is set up will not be valid. So if you want your opponent to give you some sort of advantage, for example, 1 goal advantage, if you're playing a FC 25 game, for example, you need to state so in the rules. And if your opponent accepts, that's it. That's the valid rule for the game. If you didn't state it in the rules section, then you can't force your opponent to give you that goal advantage, or you can't force him to apply any other rule to that particular challenge. With that being said, there are also the general rules that apply for all the challenges. So let's check them out. When a challenge is set up, you and your opponent will have 1 hour and 15 minutes to play a game and report the result. If you don't do it in that time, the challenge will be deleted and both of you will get your money back. To report the result, open the challenge and click the report result button and select the winner of the match. Customized squads or players are not allowed, so if you customize your squad in any way, your opponent will be given the win, because that's not allowed. Of course, if your opponent agrees to that, you stated that in the rules before the game, then it's fine. But if you didn't state it in the rules, then the general rule is that customizing your squads or players is not allowed. Guests are not allowed in 1 versus 1 matches, so if you set up a challenge and it says 1 versus 1, you didn't agree with your opponent that it will be 2 versus 1, for example, you can't have a guest on your team. So yeah, don't play with a friend if you didn't agree that pre-game. And if you do that, it may result in an unfavorable decision. What happens if a game lags? If you're far away from your opponent, like your opponent is in Africa and you're in Europe, and depending on your internet connection, some games may lag. So that's not ideal, obviously, but GamerSaloon can't do anything about that. So if a game lags, it needs to be played out. You can't quit the game. Like if your opponent is leading 1-0, for example, I'm talking about in FIFA terms, because that's what they play, then you can't quit the game and claim that the game lagged and then expect to have the law of the site on your side. That's not possible. So if you don't want to play against someone because the connection is bad, I think generally it's acceptable to quit right at the start of the game. So if you start a game and it lags, you can leave if the result is not changed in any way. So yeah, but it needs to be quick, it needs to be straight away. If you continue on playing, then you need to finish the game. Doesn't matter if it lags or not, so that's how it works. So one way to make it fair is to play 2 games. You host 1 game, your opponent does the same, because it usually doesn't lag, or at least doesn't lag as much if you host the game. First game you host, and second game your opponent hosts, and that's how you can do it if you want it to be more fair. If your opponent breaks any rules, or if he reports himself as the winner, but you won the game actually, then you can dispute the result. And to fill out the dispute, you will need to have the evidence that shows that the rules have been broken, or that you have won the game if your opponent claims otherwise. So To fill out a dispute, click the dispute button that you can find when you open the challenge and fill out all the information needed. The best way to gather evidence is by recording your games, which is the best way because if someone tries to cheat in the middle of the game, then you'll have proof that he has broken the rules. Or you can simply take a picture of the result. If you finished your game and there is the result on the screen, you can just screenshot it, and yeah, then if he reports himself as the winner, you can just use that as proof of your win. And then after filling out the dispute, just send your evidence to this email, disputes@gamersaloon.com. When they see the evidence of your win, they will resolve the issue and you'll get your money if you won the game. A lot of people are wondering about what happens if you or your opponent lose connection. So if that happens, you will actually need to finish your game and to play out the remaining time. So again, in terms of FC 25 FIFA, because that's what I play, if it's 55th minute, for example, and either one of you lose connection, you will need to start a new game and to play out the remaining time. So you would need to play 35 minutes and then quit the game. And the result is valid, the result from the first game. So if it was 2-0, for example, you would take that result, so you would count it as 2-0 and then just play out the 35 minutes that remained. Yeah, that's how it works. And if your opponent doesn't agree to it, those are the rules. Just record your game and you'll have no problems of showing that you actually did follow the rules. And yeah, it doesn't matter if you lost your connection or if it happened at the other end. The important thing is to play out the remaining time, and the result, as I said, from the first game stands when you're playing out the second game. And what if it's a draw? If it was 0-0, for example, 2-2, whatever, then you have two options. And the first one is to just play another game and then whoever wins is the winner. And the second option that you have is to request the cancellation of the game. And yeah, your opponent doesn't have the right to force you to play another game if it was a draw. To do that, click the report result button and you'll find a button that says request match cancel. And just click on that and your opponent will have to confirm the cancellation, and he has the right not to accept it, but he can't force you to play another game. So if he doesn't accept, then just leave the challenge as it is, and when the time runs out, the challenge will be deleted and both of you will get your money back. So those are the two options that you have in case of a draw. So these are the GamerSaloon rules that you should follow if you want to be a law-abiding player on GamerSaloon, which I highly recommend. I am going to leave the link in the description where you can check out the rules when you can read them in more detail if you want to do so. And yeah, check out my channel for anything related to GamerSaloon and learn how to make money playing video games. I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.